What could you do to bring down inflation?
Yeah, so inflation's, one, I think we have to pass a balanced budget amendment. We have got to stop this reckless spending by infusing too much capital into the economy, chasing too few goods. And so it is a supply and demand issue that is, the reason that why we're at a 40-year high in inflation. And so I think you reduce the amount of money into the economy, and that, of course, would bring down inflation. And so I think that would overall help. I think we restore our energy independence. We lift some of our regulations that are crushing the oil and gas industry. All of that stuff is going to drive our economy and bring it back to a growth economy again.
That's the toughie, right? Inflation. So, part of the problem that we have with inflation is the government continues spending, right? Spending, spending, spending. We know that the only way that our federal government can raise funds is by taxes, right? So you have a pot. So you look at your pot and you say, let's see, we've got a budget now, right? So when we look at all of that, we need to then say, okay, we're going to spend, this is the money we have. We can't just add programs that perhaps we can't afford. We need to prioritize them better, so that way we're not overspending our money, because our debt's $34 trillion right now. It's awful. But yet we keep expanding that, raising the debt ceiling, having problems with that. So that's a way that the government can look at helping to bring down the overall growth rate of the inflationary rate that's growing in our country. And along with that, part of that, it's a thing where, it's 25% more at the grocery store, right, since Biden took office. Well, part of that is costs have to get passed on. Another thing that we haven't looked at well, I think, since post-COVID is our supply chain. See, where are the issues in our supply chain? Because obviously, if it costs the manufacturer more to get their goods, they're going to have to pass it on. If it costs more to the farmer, they're going to have to pass it on. So I don't think we've really addressed proper supply chain issues that are kind of a leftover from COVID that have happened to us, and that feeds into inflation. And then, of course, the other thing is the pent-up desire of people. We had a couple of years where people were they felt like almost they were penned in, right? They couldn't get out and buy what they wanted, do what they want. And so that demand from the consumer needs to be looked at to see how can we ameliorate that, so that way that helps bring down inflation as well.
So, economic security is a big issue for folks that we're talking to. And again, I can't speak to what I would do. I can speak to, Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress have continued to wage a war on an economy that President Trump made very strong. And so we're going to get in and, try to stop the Democrats in Congress from doing that.
Best thing you can do to lower inflation is quit printing money. The rise in prices is because we're pumping too much money into the economy from the federal government, money that we don't have, money that we have to print or borrow. So you have to limit the flow of money into the economy. That money creates a false demand that causes prices to go up. So the federal government has to get spending under control to control inflation.
I think you've got to cut the spending. I'm the last member of Congress to get a balanced budget amendment to the House floor. Our state, most states, nearly, I think all states have to operate under a balanced budget. It's time for the federal government to do so, because when you're able to go out and print additional monies for whatever pet project or pork project it might be, what you're also doing is driving up the cost of goods, which also impacts the interest rates as well. So I know it's cliche, but we've got to get the federal government's budget under control. Not only are we damaging the economy to the current economy levels, but we're also leaving a debt to our children and grandchildren that's going to be nearly impossible to pay.